there's a lot of books here. Man, what am I thinking about having about TBR this big? I mean, if I drop this on my head, I'm gonna give myself a concussion. So many books. All right. Hi guys. So I am helping to host Panemathon. I'm gonna leave my announcement video. I am for District 6, which is read a book outside your country. I'm also gonna be, being the fact that I'm a host and I'm trying to get my team as many points as possible, I have picked out a hefty TBR for myself. June's gonna be crazy. But I did pick out a few shorter books too, so I won't be that overwhelmed. And I picked a graphic novel. So with the Panemathon, there are 12 districts. There's one prompt for each district. We also have my group book that I picked out for all of this. And then we also have a read along for all 4 of the Hunger Games books. And we are allowed to go past that if we want to. So because of that, we are going to get into a ton of books. There's so many books that I want to get to in the month of June. I'm going to talk about the Hunger Games books first, and then I'll get into the prompts. So because it's the Panemathon, we are going to be doing read-alongs for the Hunger Games. So the first week, we are doing the read-along for the new Hunger Games books, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I have not read this yet. This is probably going to be the very first book that I pick up for the Panemathon because I really, really want to read this. I am so excited. I waited such a long time for this book to come out, and the closer, oh, I'm dropping books. The closer I got to this being released, like the more excited I was for it, because I went through and I rewatched all of the Hunger Games movies to kind of give myself a little bit of a refresher so that I wasn't going into this blind, because actually like the adaptations for the Hunger Games are actually really, really good. This book's pretty big. It's about 550 pages or so, but I'm really excited for this. This is actually following President Snow and it's a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy. Now, the next week, I'm helping to host the read-along for the first Hunger Games book. We also get points for this. So we get 500 points just for reading this, okay? When we read the Hunger Games, which is the first book, and that read-along is taking place during the second week. The third week, we have Catching Fire, which is the second book. Then we also have, during the fourth week, it's going to be The Mockingjay, which is the third book in the Hunger Games series. Each book is 100 points, but if we read all 3 books, it's 500 points. So that's 1,000 points between these 2 books right here. Now, these are the read-along books. We have not even gotten into the regular books yet, and the prompts. So let's go ahead and begin with the prompts. So in this readathon, you can actually like read as much as you want or as little as you want. Basically, the more you read, the better off you are. Put little post-its on these, like so I can remember like what district this is for. First district, District 1, is I'm going to be reading this book. This is a predicted 5-star read. This is a graphic novel about Harley Quinn and how she meets the Joker for the first time. The graphics on this are gorgeous. This was kind of a cover buy, because if you look at it, we have this, and I know I'm not here to do a haul or anything, but I'm just obsessed with this book. And I'm also obsessed like with the storyline. I've actually been like wanting to get into more Harley Quinn stuff ever since the Birds of Prey movie came out, and I absolutely love that. And I've heard so many amazing things about this, and I really like love the idea like that I'm going to be diving into how Harley Quinn got started. So this is really exciting. I do predict that this is going to end up being a 5-star read for me. One of my group books is actually The Armored Saint. This is for District 6, but I also plan on reading this as a spare book because we actually get 1.5 times the amount of points for doing the spare books in the district. And I really like wanted to get into this. This is a very short book, so this one will not take me long. But the reason like why I'm mentioning this book is because prompt 2 actually has to do with the second book in that series, and it's called The Queen of Crows. So basically for the second prompt, which is for the second district, you have to read a book that has swords or armor or something like that on the cover, and this has armor. She is wearing armor. This series is very fascinating because this actually takes place like in a fantasy world where portals to hell open up. So I'm really looking forward to these. Like I said, they're not very thick at all. I figure like I'm gonna do some short books like so I can get through some of the prompts right off the bat. And I'm really excited because like these books have actually gotten a lot of really amazing reviews. So for the next book like that I'm looking to do, I'm going to be reading Slay by Brittany Morris. For District 3, you have to read a science fiction book. This book is actually a YA science fiction book that takes place with a computer game. The main character, Kira, has developed a video game named Slay, and nobody knows that she is actually the one that developed this game. But a big controversy kind of happens when somebody ends up getting murdered in Kansas City because of an argument over Slay, and so Kira has to fight to save her computer game before like somebody decides like that it's too dangerous and too much of a conflict for it to continue to exist. I've heard so many things about this, bow ties and books. They say it's wonderful, so I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get to this one either. It was actually one of the books I had on my list from last year that I was sad that I hadn't read yet. So the next book for District 4 needs to be set in or around the sea. So I actually picked The Deep by River Solomon for this. This is another pretty thin book. I'm gonna be reading a lot, so I picked a few short books like to get myself like really going like on this because I have so many books I'm planning on reading. But there are non-binary characters in this. I've heard so many people talking about this and a lot of people just love it. They say it's magical and they say it's really good. I heard the audiobook's not as good, but I'm really excited because like I don't really necessarily read a lot of books like that have to do with mermaids, especially non-binary mermaids. So this sounds like it's going to be amazing. For District 5, you are supposed to be reading an ebook or listening to an audiobook. For this, I've decided to read The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. Basically, like, this is about a woman who's getting ready to get married, and then the best man comes and tells her that it's his fault that the groom is not there. The groom's his brother, and he's taking full responsibility because he kind of talked about getting married. So this is going to be like a romantic comedy, and I recently saw this on Bookable's channel, and they had it on sale as an ebook for like $2. And I've really been in the mood for like some romance lately. I don't know what it is. It's like I just need the little bit of love in my life, I guess. So we are now on to District 6, which is the book that I picked for my district. It's the main book. This is the one that's going to give us double the points. It's called Cursed, illustrated by Frank Miller and written by Thomas Wheeler. This is a very dark book. It's got a lot of illustrations. Like, I love the cover on this. I'm so excited. This is a book that I've had on my TBR for quite a while, so I'm really excited to be able to finally get to it. This is actually like a kind of like a Sword in the Stone retelling, but it's like a what if the sword was pulled by a woman and not a man. This is actually soon to be a Netflix series too. There's still time to join my district because I want you guys to come join me. I have other alternate options, like if you guys don't like this option. But the nice thing about my prompt for my district is that you can basically read anything that's fantasy, science fiction, or a contemporary that takes place outside the country that you live in. It's really simple and it's really going to be a great time, so come join us. So for District 7, you have to read a book that is set in nature or has nature on the cover. So for this, I decided to pick Be Not Far From Me by Mindy McGinnis. And this is about a girl who gets lost in the woods after she is injured, and she kind of has to figure out how to survive. This is also kind of a thin book, but this is another book that I've had my TBR for a very long time, and I'm so excited for this. I loved Mindy McGinnis's Heroine that I read last year, and it was so hard-hitting. I have so many good books in store for myself next month. So for prompt 8, which is District 8, you have to read a book with 3 or more colors on the cover. And I'm deciding that I want to read Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. And this is also a historical rom-com that I've had in my TBR for a very long time. And I've heard some mixed reviews about this one. I'm not really sure how I'm going to feel about it yet. Basically, this takes place in England in 1879 when women do not have rights. Annabelle Archer is one of the first female students in Oxford, and she decides to hold a protest. She's a very modern woman, and she meets a duke. That's honestly all I need to know about this. I'm very excited, as you guys can tell. For District 9, you have to read a book that starts with a G. If a book starts with A or the, it does not count. You can use the word after that. So I decided to pick up A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This has been a big talked up book in our booktube community. I honestly, I don't really know much about it. And I'm okay with that because I love getting into thrillers and being very, very blind to what's going to happen. That way everything is a surprise. So that's what I'm reading for District 9. So for District 10, you have to read a book that has an animal as a featured character. I had a really hard time with this, so I decided to go back through my graphic novels and see like if there's anything that I haven't read yet. And I found something. I got it I used to go to Comic-Con conventions a lot, and I loved like investigating like new artists and authors like that I never heard of before. And so this is more of an indie comic book. This is called Dust Bunny by Brent Brooks. And it's about this bunny that's a detective. And it's really like black and white. It's got really cute like little illustrations on it. I'm so excited. I've had this on my shelf for like a really like long time. It's just one of those comic books that I just hadn't got a chance to get to yet. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be so amazing. I am absolutely in love with a lot of the indie books like that I end up getting my hands on. I do like a variety, and indie books tend to have a different flavor like than mainstream books, which I really respect. So I'm really excited to get to this. It's been on my TBR for quite a while. This is a standalone, like they haven't made any more past this. So for District 11, you're supposed to read a book with a strong sense of friendship. So I decided to pick up The Killing Light. This is the third book of one of my group books, The Armored Saint. This is the first book. This is the third book. I'm deciding like that I wanted to read the whole trilogy this month. And I did some research, and I found out like that the side characters in this are really like awesome, and they have a really tight-knit friendship. And for District 11, you have to pick a book that has a strong sense of friendship. And I felt like this really fit the bill. And I heard the side characters like are really awesome, and they're very supportive, and like there's like a really like strong sense of friendship in it and camaraderie. So for District 12, you were supposed to read a book with fire on the cover, and this is the biggest book that I picked out so far for this. This is probably just going to be like a starter. I'm going to see how far I get with this. If I end up finishing all of this and this book, which I'm using for District 12, which is The Last Argument of Kings, this is the third and final book in the First Law trilogy, and this thing is huge. This is almost a 600-page book, and it's not a small 600 pages. Like, this thing is huge, but it's a big floppy paperback, and I love big floppy paperbacks. They make me so happy. So I am going to be reading this, and you have to pick a book that has fire on the cover, and if you like look at the bottom, it has kindling, and like there's still like a little bit of flame like on the bottom. And I'm really glad because like I had hoped to finish this series next month in June, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And I feel like all of the books like in the series are building up to this book, so I think I'm going to really like enjoy this one big time. I think this is going to be amazing. So if I get through all of this and I'm able to read it all and everything, I'm going to go ahead and pick up another group book that I had picked out, which is probably going to either be Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade, and then I'm also going to be possibly picking up The Bone Witch by Rin Chpeko. I actually already read Sorcery of Thorns, which is another one of my group books. I read that one already in the month of April. I'm trying to be realistic. I know for a fact that I'm not going to be able to get through all of 15 books plus all my side books. So I've decided to pick like one that I didn't feel pressure to read because I'd already read it. And that's pretty much what I got here. I have a big reading month for myself in June. I'm hoping like to fly through quite a bit of this at a really like relatively like steady pace. I'm probably going to be having a pretty busy month next month, so I decided to pick up a few shorter books. And you do get points for page count, so it probably like won't be like as much for the page count, but you also get a bonus if you finish all 12 of the prompts, which works in my favor. And if nothing else, like what I'll do is I'll go backtrack and I will continue to just read and read and read and read and read up until June 30th. So I've got a big reading month ahead of me, and I'm really excited for this. I really hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this video, hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon. If you guys want to receive emails every single time I post, I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Amazon, and Goodreads. Those links are linked in the description below. And I hope I will see you guys participating in Panemathon, because I am super excited about it. It's a Hunger Games inspired readathon that has all 12 districts, and we are all at war, and you guys want to become part of the war too. So come join the fight. I'll see you guys again very soon.